Hey there, and welcome to another day, another episode of Blake's Everyday Podcast. I'm doing it from a different position here. I am still kind of teetering on getting back to work after this, or just ending my night off of this. It's pretty late here right now, but we finished off at the book of Job. Chapter 30, I believe. And so we're gonna go straight to it pretty much. Again, this time, well, I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna ramble because it's probably gonna happen regardless if I say if it is or not. But I'll try to make it short and sweet. We'll see how far we get. I'm going to start at the book of Job, chapter 31. Hopefully we'll get to maybe we'll get to chapter 35. I don't know. Probably not. Just because chapter 31 seems pretty long. And then chapter 33 is whew, But, man, I'm counting down to Saturday. USA plays in the semifinals. That's a pretty cool little thing. I love hockey, and if you guys watch the channel, you'll hear me talk about hockey a lot, especially this team right here. But we're going to go ahead and start at chapter 31. And just a reminder of where we kind of were. This is still on pretty much Job's final defense. So I was going to actually say just a little bit ago, no, I'm still teetering on getting back to work, so I'm doing this from my desk. This actually seems like a better angle anyways. Not as husky from this position. So Job continues with his final defense, and he goes, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a young woman. For what is our lot from God above, our heritage from the Almighty on high? Is it not ruin for the wicked, disaster for those who do wrong? Does he not see my ways and count my every step? If I have walked with falsehood, or my foot has hurried after deceit, let God weigh me in honest scales, and he will know that I am blameless. If my steps have turned from the path, if my heart has been led by my eyes, or if my hands have been defiled, then may others eat what I have sown, and may my crops be uprooted. If my heart has been enticed by a woman, or if I have lurked at my neighbor's door, then may my wife grind another man's grain. Wow. And may other men sleep with her. For what would have been wicked, a sin to be judged? It is a fire that burns to destruction. It would have uprooted my harvest. If I have denied justice to any of my servants, whether male or female, when they have a grievance against me, what will I do when God confronts me? What will I say? What will I answer when called to account? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one form us both within our mothers? If I have denied the desires of the poor, or let the eyes of the widow grow weary, if I have kept my bread to myself, not sharing it with the fatherless, but from my youth I reared them as a father would, and from my birth I guided the widow. If I have seen anyone perishing for lack of clothing, or the needy without garments, and their hearts did not bless me for warming them with the fleece from my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the fatherless, knowing that I had influence in count, then let my arm fall from the shoulder, let it be broken off at the joint. For I dreaded destruction from God, and for fear of his splendor I could not do such things. If I have put my trust in gold, or said to pure gold, you are my security. If I have rejoiced over my great wealth, the fortune my hands have gained, if I have regarded the sun and its radiance, or the moon moving in splendor, so that my heart was secretly enticed, and my hand offered them a kiss of homage, then these also would be sins to be judged. For I would have been unfaithful to God on high, if I have rejoiced at my enemy's misfortune, or gloated over the trouble that came to him. I have not allowed my mouth to sin, by invoking a curse against their life. If those of my household have never said, who has not been filled with Job's meat? But no stranger had to spend the night in the street, for my door was always open to the traveler. If I have concealed my sin as people do, by hiding my guilt in my heart, because I so feared the crowd and so dreaded the contempt of the clans, that I kept silence and would not go outside, oh, that I had someone to hear me, I sign now my defense. Let the Almighty answer me. Let my accuser put his indictment in writing. Surely I'd wear it on my shoulder. I would put it on like a crown. I would give him an account of my every step. I would present it to him as a ruler. If my land cries out against me, and all its furrows are wet with tears, if I have devoured its yield without payment, or broken the spirit of its tenants, then let briars come up instead of wheat, and stinkweed instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. Okay. So that was chapter 31. And we do have some little descriptions down here, like I've mentioned in the previous videos. If you guys haven't watched this channel, so my Bible gives a little bit of a description at the bottom. Like I have said a couple times now, I'm not a pastor, so I don't know everything. I'm just kind of beginning. So it's kind of nice to have this kind of stuff at the bottom and just kind of read what kind of things, just kind of gives you a better example of what might be going on. Obviously, I know that Job is making his final defense, and he's, really just explaining everything. Like, yeah, there goes my rambling. But Job chapter 31, verses 35 through 36, Job wished that God would show him his failure. He was tired and wished desperately for some kind of wished desperately for some kind of resolution to his suffering. He wanted God to explain what was going on. If God was holding him guilty, he was confident that he could stand up to the charges. Though Job was indeed innocent of sin, his attitude here is not acceptable. He arrogantly demands that God answer to him, instead of humbly acknowledging that God is righteous and just. Though we don't always understand, God welcomes our honest expressions of frustration, but we must guard ourselves against becoming arrogant. Yeah, I think that happens with everybody at a point in time. They get kind of arrogant with some things, when you see those movies where they're like, strike me down, but yeah, that's not cool. We're going to continue here at chapter 32. I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of my drink, though. All right. So chapter 32, Elihu. So these three men stopped answering Job, because he was righteous in his own eyes. But Elihu, son of Barachel the Buzite, of the family of Ram, became very angry with Job for justifying himself rather than God. He was also angry with the three friends because they had found no way to refute Job, and yet had condemned him. Now Elihu had waited before speaking to Job because they were older than he. But when he saw that the three men had nothing more to say, his anger was aroused. So Elihu, son of Barachel the Buzite, said, I am young in years, and you are old. That is why I was fearful, not daring to tell you what I know. I thought age should speak. Advanced years should teach wisdom. But it is the Spirit in a person, the breath of the Almighty, that gives them understanding. It is not only the old who are wise, not only the aged who understand what is right. Therefore I say, listen to me. I too will tell you what I know. I waited while you spoke. I listened to your reasoning while you were searching for words. I gave you my full attention, but not one of you has proved Job wrong. None of you has answered his arguments. Do not say we have found wisdom. Let God not a man refute him. But Job has not marshaled his words against me, and I will not answer him with your arguments. They are dismayed and have no more to say. Words have failed them. Must I wait now that they are silent? Now that they stand there with no reply, I too will have my say. I too will tell what I know. For I am full of words, and the spirit within me compels me. Inside I am like bottled up wine, like new wineskins, ready to burst. I must speak and find relief. I must open my lips and reply. I will show no partiality, nor will I flatter anyone. For if I were killed in flattery, my Maker would soon take me away. And it continues on there, but we do have a description down here, and we all know that that's important to read. So, Job chapter 32, verses 6 through 20, for an explanation. There will always be people who think they have all the answers. They will give us reasons for our actions and will think that wisdom has been given to them alone. Elihu was not that way. He carefully listened to all the arguments and weighed each person's words before he spoke. We need to follow Elihu's example and carefully weigh our words before we try to tell someone that what to do or how to think about something. Yeah, for sure. Going back onto chapter 33 now, we're going to start reading again. But now, Job, listen to my words. Pay attention to everything I say. I am about to open my mouth. My words are on the tip of my tongue. My words come from an upright heart. My lips sincerely speak what I know. The Spirit of God has made me. The breath of the Almighty gives me life. Answer me then, if you can. Stand up and argue your case before me. I am the same as you in God's sight. I too am a piece of clay. No fear of me should alarm you, nor should my hands be heavy on you. But you have said in my hearing, I heard the very words, I am pure, I have done no wrong. I am clean and free from sin. Yet God has found fault with me. He considers me his enemy. He fastens my feet in shackles. He keeps close watch on all my paths. But I tell you, in this you are not right, for God is greater than any mortal. Why do you complain to him that he responds to no one's words? For God does speak, now one way, now another, though no one perceives it. In a dream and a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds, he may speak in their ears and terrify them with warnings, to turn them from wrongdoing and keep them from pride, to preserve them from the pit. their lives from perishing by the sword. Or someone may be chastened on a bed of pain, with constant distress in their bones, so that their body finds food repulsive and their soul loathes the choicest meal. Their flesh wastes away into nothing, and their bones are once hidden now stick out. They draw near to the pit, and their life to the messengers of death. Yet there is an angel at their side, a messenger, 1 out of 1,000, sent to tell them how to be upright. And he is gracious to that person and says to God, spare them from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom for them. Let their flesh be renewed like a child's. Let them be restored as in days of their youth. Then that person can pray to God and find favor with him. They will see God's face and shout for joy. He will restore them to full well-being, and they will go to others and say, I have sinned. I have perverted what is right, but I did not get what I deserved. God has delivered me from going down to the pit, and I shall live to enjoy the light of life. So turn them back from the pit, that the light of life may shine on them. Pay attention, Job, and listen to me. Be silent, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak up, for I want to vindicate you. But if not, then listen to me. Be silent, then I will teach you wisdom. There's no description, so we're just going to keep on rolling. Chapter 34. Then Elihu said, Hear my words, you wise men. Listen to me, you men of learning. For the ears test words as the tongue tastes food. Let us discern ourselves what is right. Let us learn together what is good. Job says, I am innocent, but God denies me justice. Although I am right, I am considered a liar. Although I am guiltless, his arrow inflicts an incurable wound. Is there anyone like Job who drinks scorn like water? He keeps company with evildoers. He associates with the wicked, for he says there is no profit in trying to please God. So listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God to do evil, from the Almighty to do wrong. He repays everyone for what they have done. He brings on them what their conduct deserves. It is unthinkable that God would do wrong, that the Almighty would pervert justice. Who appointed him over the earth? Who put him in charge of the whole world? If it were his intention and he withdrew his spirit and breath, all humanity would perish together, and mankind would return to dust. If you have understanding, hear this. Listen to what I say. Can someone who hates justice govern? Will you condemn the just and mighty one? Is he not the one who says to kings, you are worthless, and to nobles, you are wicked? Who shows no partiality to princes and does not favor the rich over the poor? For they are all work of his hands. They die in an instant, in the middle of the night. The people are shaken, and they pass away. The mighty are removed without human hand. His eyes are on the ways of mortals. He sees their every step. There is no deep shadow, no utter darkness where evildoers can hide. God has no need to examine people further, that they should come before him for judgment. Without inquiry, he shatters the mighty and sets up others in their place. Because he takes note of their deeds, he overthrows them in the night, and they are crushed. He punishes them for their wickedness, where everyone can see them, because they turned from following him and had no regard for any of his ways. They cause the cry of the poor to come before him, so that he heard the cry of the needy. But if he remains silent, who can condemn him? If he hides his face, who can see him? Yet he is over individual and nation alike, to keep the godless from ruling, from laying snares for the people. Suppose someone says to God, I am guilty, but will offend no more. Teach me what I cannot see. If I have done wrong, I will not do so again. Should God then reward you on your terms when you refuse to repent? You must decide, not I. So tell me what you know. Men of understanding declare, wise men who hear me say to me. Job speaks without knowledge. His words lack insight. Oh, that Job might be tested to the utmost for answering like a wicked man. To his sin he adds rebellion. Scornfully he claps his hands among us and multiplies his words against God. Wow. Yeah, that was a pretty long chapter too. Excuse me. Chapter 35. This will be the last chapter. We're going to call it a night after that. Then Elihu said, do you think this is just? You say I am in the right, not God. Yet you ask him, what profit is it to me? And what do I gain by not sinning? I would like to reply to you and to your friends with you. Look up at the heavens and gaze at the clouds so high above you. If you sin, how does that affect him? If your sins are many, what does that do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give to him? Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness only affects humans like yourself, and your righteousness only other people. People cry out under a load of oppression. They plead for relief from the arm of the powerful. But no one says, where is God, my maker? Who gives songs in the night? Who teaches us more than he teaches? The beasts of the earth and makes us wiser than the birds in the sky. He does not answer when people cry out because of the arrogance of the wicked. Indeed, God does not listen to their empty plea. The Almighty pays no attention to it. How much less, then, will he listen when you say that you do not see him, that your case is before him, and you must wait for him, and further, that his anger never punishes, and he does not take the least notice of wickedness. So Job opens his mouth with empty talk. Without knowledge, he multiplies words. I almost want to keep going until Elihu quits talking here, because he definitely keeps on going for a while, though. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we'll probably finish it where we're at, but part of me wants to continue. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's finish it there. We got a couple more chapters, and then some cool stuff really happens. But we'll finish it there. I hope you guys have a really good night, wherever you are. It's late here. I'm going to finish some work up, get some more work done, and go to bed. Hopefully I don't sleep too hard tomorrow morning. But I appreciate you guys listening, whoever did listen. And have a great weekend. I know I'll be talking to you before then. So, peace.